Discover how to find a date with AI matchmaking in today's session with McHugh. Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu. Mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services. He is the president of ShopX, co-founder and chief growth officer of Data Inc. The first question is, AI is becoming very prominent in our lives. How can AI matchmaking be used in order to find a date and hopefully a life partner?
Sure. And Lily, thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here. So the way I look at AI, I know a bunch of people are doom and gloom about AI, but I think it's a tool that can help enhance the human experience. So whatever form that may take, it takes. And in our specific case, AI can really help with the matchmaking and relationship life of a person. So for example, with dating, what that is, it's the first ever AI-powered matchmaking service. So what we do is we auto-generate a dating profile for you, so you don't have to fill everything out based on your digital footprint or social media, and then create matches based on other people's digital footprint in social media with the intention of putting you in the position to succeed. So for example, I could get 3 matches, Ashley, Kimberly, Jane. Like, okay, Cupid, tell me more about Jane. She seems cool. And Cupid says, oh, Jane connected her Facebook. She's the youngest, you're the oldest. Our pattern recognition software says that works well. Oh, she connected her Instagram. You both go to a ton of national parks. You're both into meditation. Bam, that's a match. Oh, she connected her LinkedIn. You're both in the same career field. You could have something in common. Oh, she connected her Spotify. Did you know that she just started following this brand new artist that you follow as well? This artist has a concert coming up in a couple of weeks. Would you like me to suggest a date with Jane? Then from there, Jane would see my profile since I connected my social media accounts. She sees a AI-generated bio of me, so she kind of has an understanding of who I am. She sees our mutual friends for that comfort level. Let's say we go on that date, we fall in love, we get married. Oh, that's fantastic. That's where the app can switch to a relationship butler. So like, oh, you and Jane haven't been on a date in 3 weeks. We suggest the place you had your second date because there's half off ice cream. Would you like me to book it for you? Or it's like, oh, Jane's birthday is coming up in a month. She just added this thing to her Pinterest board. It may make a good gift. So our goal is to be there for the whole life cycle of that. And this is drastically different than current dating apps like Tinder. I mean, just think about it logically. If a dating app like Tinder matches a happy couple, what happens? This happy couple then leaves the app. This means that Tinder loses a paying customer. So Tinder relies on something called churn marketing, which is keeping someone in their ecosystem. So if you ever hear about someone downloading a dating app, deleting the dating app, deleting the dating app, that's all an incentive. Whereas with dating, we want that lifestyle because every time you book a date through our product, we would get a commission on that date. So our incentive is to offer good dates as well as connect people to get on real dates, because we think the real connection is made in person. It's not over an app. It's not over text. You actually have to go out and meet the person.
Wow, I love that. It's so innovative. What I love about it more is that normally in a traditional matchmaking platform, once you find the mate, then the deal is done, and then the creator of the app kind of like loses the actual that particular person actually loses 2 people potentially if they're good people.
Yes,
And then they lose those people forever, whereas with your system you have those 2 people hooked on this particular platform forever. And I think that is like such an amazing concept. Now I have a spinner in the works here, okay? Because in terms of dating, I find that an amazing thing is when you have so many different things in common with another person. But what I've seen someone talk on social media was that typically you like that your friends, for example, have a lot in common with you. And yes, you like that your life partner has a lot in common with you. Having said that, you don't really want to like marry your sister. You don't want to like marry someone who is like has so much in common that they feel like a buddy. And so I wonder whether the AI can actually find something around it where you can find people that complement your skills and are and your likes and your everything that you're about. Because yes, it's great to have someone that likes the same cheese as you and likes the same cake as you and likes to go to the theater and likes football and whatever. But when someone is too much like you, they become almost like your sister, like your and I saw someone on social media talking exactly about that when they become too familiar, they become not attractive. And what's attractive is when you have someone that is different to you, someone that complements you. What do you feel about that?
No, I think that's absolutely right. So I just use an example of similarity because people understand that. But let's be real. A lot of people are into different things. Like I could be into people the same. You could be into people who are the opposite. Someone could be into someone who's similar. So the cool thing about our app is the longer you're on the app, the smarter it gets. So for example, let's say for me, it's like, okay, it starts off by giving people who are similar to me, I say no, no, no. It'll pick up on that and it'll offer someone different. And if I say yes to that person, the algorithm will pick up and then start sending me more people like that person. And on top of that, me as a user, I'll be able to chat with that, just like you're chatting with ChatGPT. It's like, oh, I mean, Alice seems cool, but I would prefer someone like this, like this, like this. And then it'll tweak its responses based on my interaction with or based on the user's interaction with the app. So the longer you're on the app, the better chance you have of finding a user. And the cool thing is this works with me as a singularity, but it also works across platforms. So like the more people are, because AI at its core, it's just really good at pattern recognition at scale. So it can pick up on patterns that we'll miss. So it's going to learn as more and more users use the app for longer.
Wow, I find that really fascinating. But I do wonder, how effective are apps in general in terms of matchmaking? How many people, what percentage do they really find a date through matchmaking? And the reason I ask this is because many, many, many years ago, like maybe like more than 14 years ago, I was on a couple of dating apps. And I remember that I was matched apparently like 94%, 96%. And then when I was meeting the people in person, it was like, this cannot possibly be my match. So I do wonder, what's the general rate that a normal matchmaking app succeeds in helping you find a partner, and how does AI matchmaking compare to that?
Yes, in terms of finding a partner, the general rate right now is very low, just because there's a discrepancy in the dating marketplace. Like meaning, the top 5% of users are getting access to everyone on the app, so everyone's choosing the same amount of people. That makes a lot of people invisible. And an important thing I want to note with the dating app landscape, I view it as just an additional way to meet people. Like I view meeting someone at the grocery store and meeting someone on the beach or meeting someone where you actually do your hobbies as equally effective. If not, I've had better luck with that, to be honest. But I also understand that more people are going the digital route, mainly because there's no real rejection in the digital realm. So people are trying dating apps. Like if you go up to a girl, you talk to her, you reject it. That's much more difficult than swiping right on the app. So yeah, that's where dating comes in. We just want to offer an additional way for people to meet the app. And what differentiates us from the app is setting up the user for success. Like for example, if in our initial example, the dating app suggested that Spotify concert, and a match because of that. But let's say it didn't suggest that, that's something that could still come up in organic conversation with the users. Like, oh, I also listen to this person. Oh, I listen to this. Cool. That's awesome. And then you have something in common, and that's a good jump off point. So, but again, the whole point is to match with someone you could succeed with, because I believe love and relationships is a choice. So we just want to put all the inputs in for the person to make the right choice. And if they say no.
Thank you. Can you tell us more about the algorithms that are part of this AI matchmaking platform, and how do they work in order to help someone find a date?
Yeah, so I actually can't, just because the lore will be very pissed off at me, but it's essentially we just use your social media to create a profile for you, and then based on how your social media meshes, we compare with others. Like, so for example, if I'm on, like, let's say I like hiking a lot and the person likes running a lot, it's like, oh, there's a pretty good correlation between that. Let's try matching it that way. It's just that at scale with a bunch of different methods.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you cannot share the exact algorithm, but this is the general kind of gist of the idea, yeah?
Yeah, just think of it like different puzzle pieces where each individual trait is a different piece of the puzzle, and we're trying to match the ones that fit the best together.
Thank you. How did you come up with this idea of prolonging the customer on the app for finding a date with AI matchmaking?
Yeah, so the whole reason we came up with this specific idea is because, again, AI, I view as a neutral technology, meaning just like a knife. Someone could do good with a knife, someone could do bad with a knife. AI is the same way. So we can do good with AI, we can do bad with AI. And if we're just trying to match people to get them continuously on the app, that really doesn't help anyone. And if we're trying to spread as much love and positivity as possible, the only way to do that is to actually give ourselves the incentives to create good matches. So that's where that idea came in. And with the rise of AI and all the integrations you could do with other different softwares, it made it relatively easy.
Thank you. Does your AI platform include things like interests, values, personality traits, even, for example, personality or interest forms? So, for example, when I was on other dating apps many years ago, I remember that there was like a kilometric form to complete. For example, do you like cats? Do you like dogs? Which side of the bed do you like to sleep on? I don't know. Some of them were like absolutely ridiculous. And I wonder whether you add those kind of forms in order to establish what people like in order to help them find the right date, or whether the only material that you're using is from people's social media blueprint.
Yeah, so we use a combination of both. So in terms of forums, the dating app will continue to ask questions that it knows the questions it needs to ask to fill out the gaps, to fill out the profile for a person. So it asks those type of questions. So in terms of actually physically typing out the form, we like to keep it as minimalistic as possible because people are tired of filling out those endless questions in forms. So for stuff we can't really infer, it's like, what are you looking for? I'm looking for a long-term relationship. That's more difficult to infer off someone's social media footprint than whether they're close with their family, because they'll probably have a picture of their family. So we do a combination. So the questions are very important, like that, age, what you're looking for. That is in the form of questions, but we also try to get as much data from the social media platforms as possible. And then after that, we obviously offer the optionality for users to chat with the AI, like, what do you think of me? What you pull, and then it can correct in case AI gets everything wrong. So it's a combination of the two.
Thank you. And how can people take advantage of this particular platform? I mean, like, is there a subscription or how does it work in terms of being able to use the platform?
Yeah, so right now it's completely free. The waitlist is live. So to check it out, just go to dating.io and then you can check out the waitlist. Right now, we're only live in the United States, specifically Los Angeles, because we're taking the Uber approach, meaning we're going to launch city by city and eventually go global because it doesn't make too much sense if you match with someone, like if someone in Romania matches with someone from the United States, like, oh, that's great. You guys have a lot in common. But what next?
Thank you. Are you going to add finding an AI date to your platform?
Nah, probably not. I don't. I mean, I'm sure there'll be plenty of services for people to find AI girlfriends, but I'm just not into that.
Thank you. For someone new to AI matchmaking, what's the first step they should take to make the most out of AI matchmaking?
No, it's very simple. Just sign up and connect social media, and it'll create a profile for you. And then it's cool because you can play with it. You can route the software. So create that profile, chat with AI, and you can do some cool stuff with your matches too. You're like, oh, this match, he seems so dreamy. Can you tell us a story about your first date? And then you can take it from there. So there's that storytelling aspect.
Thank you. How people find the right date, considering there are so many scammers, people who have multiple, girlfriends or wives or whatever? How can people find a real date that is, a suitable date that is actually available?
Yeah, so in terms of that honestly comes to user discernment. So as a person, I need to be able to discern someone's intention, and I think that skill is incredibly important. But that being said, we want to put safeguards in to put our users in the position to succeed. So in terms of bots, which are a real problem on the dating apps, meaning like a lot of the people that, mostly guys, a lot of the matches they get are bot based who try to sell them something, and this is going to get worse as AI gets better, as profiles get better, as the chat function of AI gets better. So that's where the multiple connections of social media come into play. Like think about like if someone connected their Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, they're much more likely to be a real person than someone who just created an Instagram. So in terms of that, that's how we protect users. Then you as the user, you'll be able to check out their mutual friends. So like if you match with someone on the app, it's like, oh, they're friends with my brother, they're friends with my cousin. Okay, that's more of a type of protection. And on top of that, we're building out a karma system, meaning you do good things on the app, aka just be pleasant, don't be rude, don't be dating multiple people, unless that's what you're into and disclose that within the app. Like, people are polyamorous. I don't believe it, but you can't stop them. But like, don't deceive anyone and you'll get good karma points. If you do that, you'll get bad karma points, and bad karma point users will get matched with bad karma point users, and good ones will get matched with good ones. Because again, don't ghost either. It's like we want to just create a pleasant place for people to meet, and then they can chat with the app and then meet in person. And if not everything has to work out too, but at least just be like, I think you're wonderful, but I just don't see this working out in the future. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Thank you. It's very important for entrepreneurs to find the right person to match because it's very important to find a supportive person to help you to build an empire. So I'm wondering, what recommendations do you have for people who want to find a date? Because I have friends that many years ago, I remember they were on dating apps and they kept saying, like, I'm not getting enough responses from girls. Let's say I was, they were pitching to a lot of girls and a lot of them were just like ignoring. So do you recommend anything that they should do in order to optimize their profile and make sure that they get the right date for them?
Yeah, so that's the cool feature of the app. So we're building out a relationship guide too. So you can ask the app, oh, what pictures look best? What pictures in my profile do you think will work best? Because honestly, the guy, like, I'm a guy, you're a girl. Like, my ability to pick pictures that best display me is much poorer than yours. So we'll help with that. Like, oh, this picture has good lighting. This picture has a good angle. This picture is likely to do well. And across the app, it can show people, okay, these type of pictures do the best because again, of the whole pattern recognition of software. And then on top of that, it can help you as you move forward the day. It's like, okay, for some reason I can get past the first day. I can get the first date, but I never get the second date. Then it's like, keep it up. Why can't I get the second date? Well, it's because you always take your dates to play video games. Don't do this. Try coffee, try dessert. So it'll help in that aspect. And in terms of not like from the guy perspective, because I think were your friends males or females?
Yeah, male.
Yeah, so the biggest issue in terms of males not getting matches is the current marketplace is all the top males are getting all the attention from females, so then everyone else is getting ignoring. So from the female side, if you're a chick and you go on a dating app like Tinder, you can get hundreds of matches a day, no problem. So their messages are getting lost within that stack of messages because and if your profile is not optimized, of course, they're just going to skip over you. So to combat that, we're limiting the amount of profiles that you can see. So if someone gets too many matches, you stop seeing profiles like, hey, I'll either accept or deny them. And with the AI type software, you as a girl can look into the guy more. So your friend, let's say your friend is a fantastic entrepreneur, but he's probably not presenting himself. And like, think of like Steve Jobs. Now think of like Mark Zuckerberg, like fantastic. He made Facebook, multimillionaire, but he kind of dressed, he's cooler now, but he used to dress poorly. So it's like from a dating app, he would get rejected. But our app is going to help highlight the good features of the users because they can help present themselves. So like for Mark Zuckerberg's case, like, oh yes, won't say this guy may not look the best, but like, oh, this guy's a highly successful entrepreneur. He does these hobbies. This is how it can help and be beneficial in a relationship. It can help spin that story. And then the girl can ask more questions about Mark, and then they can share with the girlfriends, like, hey, here's my picture screenshot, and then they can do the detective work using the app as well.
Sounds very, very interesting. I find the picture is very important. I find that men tend to not really put a lot of attention on the way they take the picture. And sometimes maybe they take the picture, in a dark room. Maybe their, room doesn't look so tidy and they're not paying any notice to that. And I think that there's a big discrepancy between that and girls who use filters. So I do wonder, how does AI matchmaking help entrepreneurs and help people in general to find the right mate based on the fact that there's so much artificial stuff online? So for example, I don't use filters, but I did try it out, before posting just to see how it would look. And it's like, oh my God, I'm 20 years younger. And, if I posted that on my profile, I looked like, oh my God, I'm like hot. I'm looking at myself. I'm thinking, oh my God, if only I was that, you know, and, looking at that, then maybe I would get like hundreds of matches. But then you end up with the catfishing thing where, the person comes and sees you in person and you're not that person, right? So I wonder what the app is doing in order to tackle this specific issue with, girls using filters and men taking really horrible pictures that don't actually favor them at all.
Like I mentioned earlier, from the man side, it's going to offer suggestions on how to take the pictures because like you could ask ChatGPT, what's the best way to take a picture? And then it'll probably spit up an answer for you. So from the male side, it can be like, okay, you don't want to use this picture. You don't want to use this picture for this reason. Try this. So it can continually offer suggestions. And from the girl side, the filter thing and this is something we're debating building out or not, you can put the level of filters that someone's using and then kind of throw a flag on. And same for the guys. It's like if you're lying about your career, you're lying about your height, you're lying about all that thing. So that's the same side from the girl side. So that's where the karma system gets baked in. So let's say I say I'm 6'5", I'm not 6'5", but someone meets me thinking they're 6'5", I'll get dinged, my karma points will drop, I'll get less matches. Or let's say a girl lies about her age or puts on tons of makeup and just doesn't look like how she is in the picture, her karma points will get dinged, so it doesn't happen to another person.
Wow, that is so interesting. Do you find that AI matchmaking is a lot superior to normal platforms? And in terms of success rate, is it a lot more successful? Do you estimate?
Yeah, it's probably 20 to 30 times successful just because of the attention of the app. I still think that meeting someone in person is the best way to meet someone, but if you're not going to do that, AI is going to be the next step.
Thank you. Do you find that the AI matchmaking is going to also help couples after they have been matched in order to have better relationships? And if that's the case, is it going to integrate a lot of monetization stuff within the app that will help them, take actions that they wouldn't normally take, like buying flowers for their date or taking them to restaurants or things like that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The app will be able to suggest, let's say you're with you and your partner, it's like, oh, they haven't been on a date in 3 months. We suggest this date. This new restaurant just opened up. They have a deal on whatever the case may be. That's like, hey, she connected her Instagram. She just posted another picture of Italian food. This new Italian place looks good. Or hey, she left a bad review on Italian food. Let's not go there again. So the goal is to help people throughout that whole cycle. So we want people to match. And then on top of that, it's not just couples. It's like me and you can meet for the first time. Let's say we meet for the first time. We take out our phones, we tap. It's like, oh, you guys both have this interest. Maybe it's just this coffee place nearby, so it can do that as well. So it's really just going to connect people at scale.
Wow, that sounds so incredible. I mean, it's an amazing thing that you have built. I mean, I'm living in the future.
That's better. It's better than the present.
And would you say that there will be some video dating integrated into the platform? And if yes, will that help couples to find the right match?
Yeah, so what we're integrating two things. We're integrating first off a video FaceTime call type of thing, just so the screening process. Like, hey, I understand if you're trying to meet someone online, specifically from the girl side, it's a little scarier. So if you want to match, hear their voice, see their face, we're building out that feature. And then the success rate for a date after the initial call is usually much higher because you've actually taken the time to meet someone for a date. So we're building that out. We're also building out AR. So if you want to meet an augmented reality, you can meet there too, and your first date can be online. But again, our goal is always going to be to push people to get that face-to-face meeting because I think that's where you can pick up on someone's vibe and energy much easier than you can pick up on someone's vibe on a video call better than you can just a random text message. But to get the full picture, you really do have to meet them in person eventually.
Thank you. Chemistry between people is quite hard to quantify. How does AI matchmaking aim to help towards finding someone that you would have good chemistry with?
Yeah, so it's going to be quality and quantity of user tags. So the more we know about the user, the better we can match with the other users. So it's in the user's best interest to connect different forms of social media. And on top of that, it's like, that's why we ask for different forms too. It helps show you're a real person, but if I connect my Instagram, that's probably my only highlight reel. But if I connect my Instagram and my Twitter, those show two different dimensions of me as a person, and you can get more data from me. Like, oh, yes, this person posts a bunch of travel stuff, but he comments on authors on Twitter because I'm not posting books on Instagram, but I'm also not posting travel pics on Twitter. So it'll give you the more complete picture. And like LinkedIn will give you that career picture. Facebook will help give you like birthday and all that stuff and like friend circle. So yeah, and like Pinterest just shows interest. So like the more platform and like Apple Health, we're connecting with them. It's like, okay, well that shows the person runs 5 miles a day. That sounds like they're health conscious. So that's just another dimension we can get on someone and hopefully like, hey, if you both connect your Apple Health, you both run 2 miles a day, that could be a good match. But again, it's always up to the user to actually meet on a date, be pleasant to each other, and then make the decision to pursue a long-term relationship or not.
Thank you. What are the biggest challenges with AI matchmaking?
Mostly just creating a system that can actually match people well. So that itself, as we get more users and the AI learns more. Because when we first started, the matchmaking was pretty terrible, to be honest. It just would match with the most random people, but now it's getting pretty good.
Thank you. And when are you aiming to have this app for like worldwide kind of use or specific country use?
So in terms of launch, we're launching in LA February 14th because that's Valentine's Day. Then the next year we want to take going over the United States, like different cities, and then from there we'll probably go worldwide, probably in select cities too.
Thank you. For people that don't have social media, so I know some people, okay, and they are really good people, but they just dislike being visible on social media. They just dislike the attention and they actually prefer to be a little bit underground. So I wonder, how does AI matchmaking work when you have someone with almost zero social media blueprint?
So there are two options. The app's not going to be for everyone. So if it's not for some person, that's honestly totally fine. We still wish them the best. But they'll have the option to either connect with little social media will have, but then they'll just have to substitute the data that we pull from their social media with answering questions. So that'll be a more tedious process, but once they have the profile, they should be good to go. And honestly, they'll probably end up matching with someone with little social media as well. So hopefully that works out for them.
Thank you. Ghosting is quite, a hurtful thing that could happen with dating in general. How does AI matchmaking help to limit that happening, or is there anything that it can do?
Yeah, so two things. The first thing it does is a karma system. So someone goes, so you usually get dinged pretty badly in the karma, and then people will be like, because that's something we really want to prevent or stop just because it is unpleasant. So that's where the karma system comes in. Yeah, this person ghosted, and then if someone ghosted, a report comes in, we can report that as a ghosted for the next user just so they're aware. But then you can also do things like what type of person would ghost someone. So if they're on Instagram, to connect their Instagram, there with tons of different every photo. Yeah, that's probably a high probability for ghosting. It can pick up on stuff like that as well.
That's very interesting. That was a very interesting interview. And thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Yes.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.